Alright guys, I got this thing set up on the frame. It probably needs to go back another 1.5 or 2 inches to center the wheel up in the fender. And I've been checking the charts and the spreadsheets and other data and doing some rat rod bob style highly classified rat rod calculations and using some Jethro Bodine ciphering. I've come to the conclusion that I need to move the motor back. If you see the shifter positions under the dash right now, I measured the center line of the old axle to the center of the shift tower on the old setup, and it's like 36 inches from the axle center line to the shifter center, which would put it right around here somewhere. So I'm looking at probably sliding this thing back 9 inches. So, I mean, I've got plenty of clearance on my firewall to go back that amount of space, and that will give me the radiator clearance that I need. And on the drive shaft end, I looked through my collection of drive shafts. I found the correct yoke, and I found a drive shaft that actually looks like it'll be the right length. This one my foot's on. So what we're going to do is, that way it'll make it a one-piece drive shaft, get rid of the center bearing. We'll have to come up with a different kind of transmission cross member, because this cross member here sets on the frame on this side and bolts through the frame on the other side. We got to come up with a cross member. I got some ideas. So what we're looking at here on the cab height, we've got to be at least a 1/2 inch higher than what it is, because right now the rocker's sitting on the frame. Because this frame is wider in the front than the original frame was, we're going to have to set it up just a touch higher so the rockers will clear. Now, time we mount the running boards on here, you won't ever see the frame, and that way we'll keep adequate ground clearance. Ouch. Actually, the ride height is looking really good, and if we need to, we've got a set of 2-inch drop spindles we can put on here to get it a little lower in the front. We're gonna drop, we got coilovers for the rear, so we can drop the rear some. And from what I've read, to center the rear wheels in the fenders in the rear, the axle needs to come forward 2 inches, which that's already in the calculation for this drive shaft right here. And it won't be hard to move it forward because we're going a 4-link. So we just move the 4-link mounts forward just a touch, and we should be straight. So that's what we're looking at. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I think what I'm going to work on right now is getting this yoke off of this drive shaft here, and getting this yoke off this drive shaft that we're going to use, and I'll show you how to do that here right quick like. Alright, so on these factory joints, you got, this is like injection molded plastic that locks these joints in this shaft. And so to make it easier to come out, you want to melt the plastic out of there. So all you want to do is take a little propane torch and kind of heat it up and melt that plastic out. Alright, and then I got this little press here. It's a universal tool, and it just pushes it right on out. Now I've used the hammer, an old socket deal, that works, but this is just a lot easier, a lot less banging, a lot neater. Use a ratchet, and when you put these kind back in, they have a clip that goes on the inside. You see that? You see that little groove right there? This clip goes in that groove. So there's that clip in. I usually put one in and then press the joint in the rest of the way. So hang on. Alright, so see the clip? It's going back in right now. Alright, so both clips are all the way in. And you want to make sure the joint's moving with no problems. And it is. So there you go. U-joint the easy way. Like I said, make sure you only use a ratchet on that press. Alright, so we already discussed that the engine's got to move back. And that's going to free up some clearance on the steering shaft. And it's actually going to make a little bit more clearance on the exhaust. This flange right here will be right here. So we got a lot more room there. I've got these are 2.8 replacement mounts with polyurethane in them. It's a really good mount. It gets all the slop out the factory wore out rubber mounts. So that's what we're going to put in there. So what we'll do is we'll make some plates to bolt in the factory holes on the frame, and then pick up the holes on these mounts here, maybe quarter or 3/8 plate, and that way we can set the engine back, and it'll get us room we need for the radiator, plus it'll put our shifter in the right spot. So these are little things that you find out once you get stuff mocked up. I didn't go from a 3-joint shaft to a 2-joint shaft and eliminate the center bearing. So I like that. So all that will tidy things up. You come back with the cab at least a couple of inches. Maybe 2.5 inches. I pulled the factory stick out. I've got it right here. So we'll probably cut it off somewhere around in here. We'll make an adapter so we can bolt it on our transmission. We're gonna figure out how to use this emergency brake setup. So I like that handle there. Like I said, I want it to look all stock on the inside. So, and then we're gonna somehow or another we're gonna make this brakes pedal setup work, or parts of it, to where we can at least use the pedals. So we'll have all that working. But like I said, we haven't gotten much accomplished today because we were ciphering and calculating and figuring. But I like what we've come up with. Everything we've done so far has really made things come out a little neater and better, I think. So, in actuality, keeping this high up off the frame, will probably be able to retain all of the factory floor, which was in really good shape. So that's a bonus.